Hello.
Now then, here we all are then. Once again, it must be Thursday.
Yes.
The sun
Sorry,
is
I'm just-
shining, the birds are coughing, and Mike is opening a parcel.
I am. And it's got a
Mike
note
is
inside it.
playing with his package.
It's got a note inside it.
He's had a delivery, folks, and he doesn't know what it is, and it's quite a large package he's got.
Oh,
Yeah, I need to.
another upholding this notice.
Hang on, I've got a note here.
To whom it may concern, cease and desist. How are you, John? You all right?
You're a nice bloke. Stop. This show should stop.
Stop. Please, 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 stop.
Stop.
Well, viewers, while Mikey reads his mail, me and John will cause chaos.
I've been good, Gary. Sorry, a bit of a lag.
It's been good. I've not been very well. I haven't been very busy at the bench. I've been busy doing other things. I went to, as you know, last weekend I was at Key Model World, which is why I wasn't around on Friday because I was doing the setup for that. Had a very, very nice and enjoyable, fun, filled with giggles and laughter with John Mayfield, Steph Keithley, and the great James Skiffins, causing mayhem and chaos in the Birmingham NEC. That was good fun. On Monday, I was playing around in the woods, and I wasn't naked singing and dancing around a campfire with some sort of cult, as Mikey
I saw that on YouTube.
seems to have decided.
Yeah, we saw proof of that.
Right.
You sent us
Only
pictures.
fans. Yeah.
Don't deny it. You sent us pictures.
I
I
was
also,
on Grindr. That's right. It was on some server anyway.
yeah, I also visited a friend of mine's man cave and
Ew.
was totally ashamed at the state of mind. So that forced me to start Operation Tidy Up.
Ew.
No, John, please. Yesterday, I was dragged out shopping for new shoes and belts and things like that. And this is the first day I've sat at the bench to do some work. It probably won't last long because it's been incredibly warm here the past few days.
Is it?
And most of what I need to do involves spraying.
Well, it's starting to turn here a bit. I've actually got jeans on and some socks, and I was pondering whether to put a light jumper on before I came out in the garage.
They're reckoning 26 degrees here today.
So you're smiling at what's in your package.
Smiling at his package.
Box. Hang on.
Chieftain Mark 10.
Cool.
Nice.
Oh wow! Hang on, there's another one in here.
Bloody hell. Oh, Grant. Oh, cool.
Wow.
Sure.
People in South Australia would call it a grant. People, in Haribo.
Right,
People in the rest of Australia would call it a grant.
Grant.
I think. So I
Brilliant.
just moved a missile. These are little aphid missiles, little tiny things. And the forward guide vanes. 4 of them are stuck on. When I moved it, there's now 3 there. So where the hell did the last one go? Always away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did at the weekend.
Start a door.
At the weekend, I did make a small purchase. Stand by.
Oh, that's not a small purchase.
So
Yeah, Tiger.
he spent many years buying that.
Mind. I can't find it now. Where's that gone?
That has got some bloody sprues in it. So
What,
this
Haribo?
parcel was off one of Gary Evans's followers, Rob. He sent me 2 kits. Look at the amount of sprues in the grant.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, with mini art. What do you expect?
So, Gary, move to your left slightly, like two paces.
Left.
There we go. Yeah, so there we go. So I'm trying to
Gary,
line
are you
up.
holding your shorts up?
No.
I'm trying to line up Mikey's top half with Gary's bottom half. There we go. Oh, I should try the.
I can't find it. Where's it gone?
You're on the wrong side, John.
Oh God, it's reversed.
Well, I did buy a little.
So, Rob, if you're watching, thank you very much, buddy. We really appreciate it. And I appreciate the Moralabo.
Right. Somewhere I've managed to lose a Tamiya 148 German motorcycle and sidecar.
Oh. Well, they're not huge.
No, it's not a big kit.
That's what she said.
I was talked into it by Mayfield.
Ah.
Sounds legit.
But I'm thinking of starting to do more 148 scale armor in the future because I was looking at
a bit big for you, isn't it?
It's just storage space, you know. And if I want to put them on bases, it looks better. I was on a base, especially with my new using things like this for bases.
Yeah.
That's
why I used for the for that farmhouse one that I did.
Yeah. And I was looking at John's amazing work, John Mayfield's amazing work with his armor. Yeah. It's all 148. That's all he does. It really is 148. And I thought, that might be the scale for me to go. So I bought this little motorbike and sidecar. So it cost 12 quid.
Yeah. Nice.
But today is 135th Krankenpanzerwagen.
Yes.
Yeah. But before I crack on with that,
yes,
I had a delivery as well. This is a package from our friend of the channel, Duke Wellington.
Ooh.
So I'm not totally. I haven't opened it. I don't know exactly what's in it. But I asked if it's okay if I open it online. Let's have a look at that. While I do this, did you want to go through some comments?
Yeah. Go on then, Modest. We'll go through the comments whilst we're watching John open the package. Kaylee says, haha, beat you all, I'm first. She is.
Well done, Kaylee.
Duke says, good day, all you beautiful people. Congratulations on being first, Kaylee.
Hey, Duke.
Hey, Duke. Dieter said, that makes me third or fourth today. Ready for one more round and currently holiday here, so free to join. Yeah, he's on holiday next week, isn't he? Working from home. Scott says, hello, everyone. And John, where's the cheese?
How'd you know? I literally had cheese for dinner.
Julian says, morning, all.
Morning, Julian.
Morning. And evening, Scott. Joe says, good morning, afternoon, and evening.
Hi, Joe.
Dieter, morning, afternoon, and evening, all. Hello, Dieter. Tiff says, afternoon, everyone. Welcome in. Please hit that like button on your way in. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, don't forget, you should lube and subscribe.
As John's got on his screen.
Yeah.
Because John's cool. He's one of the cool kids. There we go. Julian says, afternoon, all in panel. There we go.
Hi up and see the arcade.
David says, a good day, all.
Hi, David.
Hello. Dieter says, why does it feel like I'm looking at a new version of ZZ Top tribute band with John and Mikey, Bearded and Gary having none? Like the drummer does, and it's actually named Beard.
Well,
John, Julie says, go on.
All I say is we've got legs and we know how to use them.
Yeah. Funnily enough, there's an old guy in town, and whenever he sees me, he always stops and goes, oh, like he's surprised, saying, oh, look, it's ZZ Top. I'm like, really?
Hang on.
Julie says, John, do you know lag is a UK slang for convict?
I didn't, actually.
I think it more refers to a young convicted male, doesn't it? Like a yob.
Oh.
He says, hi, David. Stop going through the comments sector whilst we see what John's got.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, he had a small, he had like an orgasm when he looked in the box. So
you saw this the other day. This is a cricket ball tank.
That's brilliant.
Pretty much finished. I still haven't fixed up a little couple of things like that seam there and yada yada yada. But I think the overall effect has worked. It looks like a cricket ball to me.
It
so
does.
yay. So what's just arrived? Look at this.
Oh, lovely.
Oh my God! It's a little cricketer holding some sandpaper.
Very good.
Look at that. Oh, Duke, that's amazing. Proper Aussie colours and all. And there's another one. Oh my God. What is this black stuff? Oh, that's me sort of writing out and crossing out the addresses on the post pack. I don't want to get that all over it. But again, the baggy greens, wearing the baggy green hats and stuff like that. Let's try to.
Yeah. Very
Oh my
nice.
God. We've done the Aussie coat of arms. And oh, it's Booney. Oh wow.
Who's it, Merv?
No, it's Dave Boone having a stretch.
Oh, right.
It might be Merv. Let us know in the comments if it's Merv or Booney. I think it's Booney.
All right.
Oh my God. So these are
They've got to put it on a base now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So sandpaper. Look at that. You'd be polishing that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it on a nice green base.
And yeah, how amazing is that?
Well done.
Oh, over and above. That's just so good. I mean, look at that. It matches size perfectly. I am over the moon with that. Thank you, Duke.
Yeah.
Wow, so good. All right, I need to go and clean my hand before I do anything else. Yeah, so I'll be back in a moment.
All right, let's go through the chat. Let's carry on going through the chat. There you go. Mr. Evans he says, morning troops, luxuriating in the aircon in the north wing today. Yes, I've had my fan on all morning, so this room's actually quite cold now.
I left my room shut up this morning with the window shut and everything, and it's nice and cool in here at the moment. But as the sun is now creeping around the house, it will get very, very warm in here come about 2:15, 2:30.
Yeah. What I tend to do in the afternoon is leave the curtains closed because I've got blackout curtains on.
Yeah.
Dieter says, nice package, Mr. Dragon, with Haribo. Yes. Thank you very much, Rob. Tiff says, another mini art kit. Indeed. June says, afternoon, Commander Evans. Just watch your BF 110. Lovely job. David, Mikey, that's Chieftain is a good kit. I built it here, enjoyed it. The other one I am after. Ooh.
I've got a BF 110 there.
Ooh. In baggies. Ian says, good Arvo, Hagrid, and ZZ Top Tribute Band.
Actually, just to clarify, that 110 isn't mine. It's the face-to-face sessions.
Ah. Scott says, if Mini Art did Battleship, it would have 2,500 parts. Hobby Time says, hi, guys.
Hi, Hobby Time.
Kaylee says, hi. Hello, Kaylee.
Hiya, Kaylee.
June says, Hagrid, all I can say to that is Frank Beard's gone downhill, laugh out loud. Oh, what are you saying about our guys?
Hello.
Black Hat says 16 scale armor is the new standard, Gary.
No, it's too big.
See, I wouldn't mind doing a 1/16 scale Kettencrad. Because that looks a nice scale for that. Because 135 is too small for a Kettencrad for me. I've got one, it's just really bloody small. David says, John, watched the first live stream you did last month while alone last night and really enjoyed it very much. Even the overrun. Oh, that sounds dodgy. You're watching John whilst you're on your own last night. Interesting. We'll come back to that one when John comes back. So if we mark it, so we don't forget.
Slight issue with the airbrush, yeah.
Matthew says, hi all. Hello, Matthew. Dieter, give me all your loving guys and get out sharp dressed, man.
And all your hugs and kisses too.
Julie says, legs or lags, Gary?
Yes.
Ian says, get your kits out, lads.
Yeah.
Julian, that cricket ball looks fab, John. Those figures are gorgeous.
Looks really, really good.
Scott says Merv warming up to bowl.
Yeah.
There you go. Kaylee says great guys. Gary says that's Merv Hughes. He was doing warm-ups while fielding by the boundary during a match, and the whole crowd started joining in.
Merv the Swerve.
There you go. It was Merv, Gary.
Oh, it's
John.
Merv. Well, I showed them to Bron, and she said, "Oh, it's Merv." So yeah, it was only me that had it wrong. So well played.
Even your wife knows cricket better than you.
Well, clearly, I kept referring to it as golf the other day.
June says, hi, Hobby Time, Black Hat and Matthew. Deed says, still working on getting the T35 part of my Big Wind project together so I can hand it over to my build buddy. Google Big Wind if you want to know what I mean. Number it will be. Also, while you're doing this and going through the comments, everyone loves a good unmasking, so I'm going to take the canopy masks off this live. So, just keep reading, and I'll just do this for a moment. Well, if you go on overhead cam, we'll switch over to you. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. So I've given this a matte coat as well, so it certainly looks better than what it did the other day. Haven't done a panel line wash yet, but that'll be the next thing. But yeah, here we go. So this would be, it's either going to work or it isn't. But this is being Russian, the bright sort of blue green that they love so much and stuff. So I'll zoom in a bit more because you'll get to see all the mistakes. Where am I? I need to get some glasses on. All right. So sorry, continue. Jim says hello to all in chat. Hello. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hello to our gracious hosts. Hello, Jim. Ian says, hey, Jim, good morning. Hey, Jim. Oh, God, there he goes. Lady Sam says, hi, Mikey, Gary, and John, Mr. Frontline. Oh, did you go there yesterday? No. Yeah, a couple of things happened. Change of plans. But we'll meet up at some point. Was Bron there as well, was she? No. No. Bron figured out where you were going. Jim says, hey there, Ian and Hobby Time. Obviously, there is nothing going on. It's just us being silly. Exactly right. Hobby Time says, hi, Jim. Lady Sam says, Dennis Lilly and his gold chains. Oh, yeah. Hobby Time says, hi, Julian. Ah! Oh, sorry about the crotch shot then.
Yeah, you see? You started.
Well, at least I'm wearing pants today. Lady Sam says, hi, Jim. Julian says, evening, Lady Sam. Lady Sam says, hi, Hobby Time and Julian. Julian says, hi, Jim Striped Skunk. Hobby Time says, hi, Lady Sam. Jim says, hi, Lady Sam. Dieter says, Gary and me are spamming ZZ Top puns and John is not picking up on them. Where is the world coming to? No, so I have to step away for a moment. I am aware of ZZ Top. She knows how to use them. Graham says, good afternoon, all you lovely people. Hello, Graham. There we go. Caught up with chat now. Lovely. This won't take long.
I've got a major airbrush issue at the moment.
Oh, yes? Have you connected the airline?
No.
Have you hit the reset button?
Nope.
Have you broke a needle?
No. Well, I don't know about that. I've got a stuck needle.
Ah, you've not cleaned it properly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to get it out.
Yeah, well, you can see enough blue.
Why don't you put some smear extra thin down it? And then just wash it out before it damages the seal. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Again, not perfect, but it'll do,
Yeah.
So one step closer to being finished. As I mentioned earlier, the aphids have turned up. Look at the size difference between the aphids and the Apex missiles.
Look at the size of me aphids.
I've just knocked another bit off. Bloody hell. All right, more things to fix. I'll put this away before I break anything else.
Excellent. Right.
Krankenpanzer.
Yeah.
Zoop.
Am I going to regret doing this?
Jim says, regarding ZZ Top, I'm a fan from way back, pre-Hollywood Image. They were that little old band from Texas. Okay.
Everything's big in Texas, though.
Yeah, even the beards.
Yeah, even me.
You know, all my exes live in Texas.
Look at Pepe.
No, that's taxes, Gary.
Oh, right.
John,
Hello.
I've done some more painting on him.
Monsieur Le Pepe.
Oh. So let's zoom in on you.
Go on,
yeah.
Willis.
You. It's all about you.
Hello.
I am Pepe.
Hello, I am Pepe. Pepe le Giant with a leather skirt.
Oh my God! What a repulsive man that is.
Yeah, but Pepe's all right, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, I was looking at the James Skiffins on the sticker in the background there. I'm sorry.
Hey, I had a very good time with James Skiffins this weekend. We had a right giggle.
He's a beautiful man.
He is. When he keeps his ass in his trousers. Yeah, I quite like him. He's doing well. I've also done the wheels on that.
Ah, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've hit a major snag here.
Yeah, because I've got all the rear ones on. I need to do the driver wheels or whatever you want to call them. What are they called?
Drive sprockets.
Drive sprockets. Yeah.
There we go.
But
I have rescued the needle.
Lady Sam says, love AC/DC.
It's pronounced Akadaka.
I think this needs some lube on it.
Ooh. Does it need a subscribe as well?
I happen to have.
What's that?
What's that?
It's
Reg dab needle
Big Dab.
juice.
Yeah, it's Badger backwards.
Oh,
Lube.
Aha.
right.
Gene says, if I recall correctly, they've nicknamed the Texas, or is that apocryphal?
Texas.
I don't know. Lady Sam says, that statue looks like a certain politician after he doesn't get his way.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Junior says, Lady Sam, he looks more intelligent in my honest opinion.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, no, let's loiter there. It's
I can
hilarious.
see him brewing.
Yeah. Dieter says, Revel issued a new AC/DC tour truck, by the way. Ooh.
Oh. Very good. Right, so I need to do step 78. Put my driving wheels together. Let's do that.
Tres Hombre, Fandango, Tejas, The Guelo. Those albums have the decent background before Eliminator.
Oh. There you go. I didn't know that.
Tiff says, I know, Dieter. I want it same with the Iron Maiden one. There we go. Right. Detailing.
Right.
Yeah, but they're not Kylie and Taylor, are they?
Yeah.
Kylie and
Those two. Those two reprobates. Dieter says same, Tiff. Yes, I'm sure she really appreciate the fact that you're doing that. Lady Sam says, Lady says, I'm Thunderstruck, a new truck from Revel.
Thunderstruck.
See what you did there? See what you did there?
Yeah, right.
That sounds awesome. You know, on the film Battleship, when they're starting up the battleship, they play Thunderstruck.
I was saying to this to somebody at the weekend. The best I've seen is Big Jet TV were at Lakenheath for the F-15s.
Yeah,
they were just they were filming them getting airborne, and after he'd done the live show, he put the takeoffs to Thunderstruck.
Yeah,
and it works on so many levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe
that's
said,
good.
Jim, I had that giant 8-track Fandango in 75.
Oh, the 8 tracks. They worked. Oh, good.
Was that a record with only 8 tracks on?
It's hard to describe. It's easier if you just Google it, but it's between a cassette and a cassette really. But yeah, so whereas our LPs back in the day had like side A, side B,
Yes.
8 tracks had better sound.
Yeah.
But it was in like 4 chapters, so you could have like 2 songs, and you could skip between them as well as just skip between songs.
Yeah.
It was just like a cartridge. Yeah.
Oh,
One
got
in
it.
the Leyland P76.
Yeah, I see what you mean. There was sort of the build up to cassette tapes.
I think they came after cassettes, maybe, but around about the same time. But yeah, they were better sound than cassettes, but just not as portable. And yeah, so they eventually lost out. But
Yeah.
they sounded as good as sound in a car could back in the early 70s, I guess.
Yeah. That's cool. See, I like to learn things as well. Dieter says, we're getting a power up and trooper rolling in, aren't we? There we go. Jim says, Joe Leal, I did too, kissy.
Kissy.
Kissy, kissy. Jim has put his thumb up. Oh, that sounds dodgy. Kissy, kissy, he's put his thumb up. Julie says, which tour? There are a couple of AC/DC tour trucks from Rebel.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's the thing.
AC/DC.
Ooh, Gary, you remember the band The Alarm, don't you?
No.
No? Okay.
No, sorry. Can't help you there, sir.
Yeah. Apparently they sold 5 million albums. But I don't know. But yeah, the lead singer who lived not far from us, he passed away after a 30-year battle with leukemia the other day.
Oh,
a 30-year battle.
Yeah. So he fought hard. To be fair,
fought very hard.
He didn't go without a fight, did he?
No. And he's dedicated most of his life to raising money for stem cell research.
Oh, well played.
He's a nice guy. I met him a couple of years ago in the local guitar shop. He was talking to the owner when I went in there. He seemed a nice guy. Joe says, Mexican Blackbird, my favourite. I suppose if you're in that situation, you're either going to be the most bitter guy ever or you're going to be the nicest guy ever, aren't you? You're not really going to be in between when you've gone through that.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Dieter says, Julian, this is for the current Power Up tour. There we go. Jim says, funny lyrics on Mexican Blackbird. Yeah, didn't you? Dieter says, I have the Hells Bells tour truck, skipped the 3D puzzle version, have also a Kiss, Motorhead, Rammstein, and a 3D puzzle of Queen. Cool. Graham says, Bird Dog just flew past my house, taking off from Crail Airfield. Ooh. I saw an interesting aircraft on video yesterday. It's called the Westland Wendover.
Oh, yeah.
And it was basically the front end of a Lysander with the back end of a small Lancaster tail.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
Yeah. It's actually a French design. So the designer of the Lysander, Teddy Pedder, went over to France in early war to talk to I can't remember the name of the company, I think it starts with P, to talk about licensing that rear end sort of thing and all that sort of stuff like that. The only reason they didn't build it is the threat went away. But They didn't need to defend Britain anymore. It's the only reason they didn't build it. It worked well. It flew very well, apparently, with no problems at all. In fact, it fixed the horizontal stab problem that the Lysanders were famous for.
Yeah.
Isn't life interesting?
It is. Lady Sam says, Julian, the Power Up Tour. Joe says, yes, some we can't say here. Yes.
Yes.
Julian says, I do, Mikey. I love a New South Wales. Yeah, that was one of their songs, wasn't it? Julian says, he's put the link up to the truck, about £10 cheaper than the previous one. There we go. Oh, speaking of links, last week, as those who are watching know, I got a bit of a telling off from Amazon for not declaring the fact that I got an affiliate link in the description, and the affiliate link works by if you buy the items through that link, then Amazon give me a percentage of the money from it. Doesn't cost you any extra. They just give me a percentage of what you pay normally. So, yeah. So, in the description for this video is a link to this Krankenpanzer kit from ICM.
Ah, you sell out.
So did they physically tell you off?
Well, they sent me an email saying that just to make you aware, you do need to be telling them this information. And you need to put this information in the description along with the link. It's like, talk about demanding.
You bad lad.
Yeah, Jeff. Stop being so demanding.
Yeah.
Bezos. Junior says,
by blasting Katy Perry into space and making her come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastard.
Oh, you know.
Well, rumor has it she sat in a puddle last week and claimed she was a diver.
Yeah.
Getting a name for herself like Rachel from Accounts. Oh, right, moving on.
Oh.
Yeah, you can say that. Apparently that's sexist.
And a big hello to everyone in Australia. Looking forward to voting this weekend. I support democracy so much that I vote in every election around the world.
And that's
Sometimes
John.
more than once.
That's John from Accounts. Jimmy says that was the ACDC chore truck, by the way. Yeah. Gary Evans says, I saw ACDC join the Highway to Hell tour just before Bon Scott died. Awesome. Angus Young was no.
Wow, I've never seen them.
Speaking of Mr. Evans, don't forget to join us at 8 p.m. tonight on Gary's Stuff channel, because we do have Gary's live stream where I'll be moderating, and Gary will be doing the mystery box from Mystery Box Nick, where you can win your very own mystery box. Oh,
I've had a delivery.
Gary's got his call-up papers.
Everyone's got deliveries today.
My IPMS magazine.
Gary's got his call-up papers.
Yeah.
So I had a delivery from B&A today, but I was, I have to go back and check. I thought I had ordered the photo etch set for a Lysander as well as the other kit, but nothing in the box. So I need to double check whether I've ordered it or whether it's back ordered or what not.
Right. I am cancelling my subscription to IPMS. This is disgraceful.
What? You're not in it?
There's no
wooden ships.
Oh.
Blimey.
Jim says, Gary, I only listen to AC/DC music from the Bon Scott era. Brian Johnson makes Lemmy sound perfectly in tune. Lady Sam says there's only one left in stock on Amazon for the Power Up AC/DC truck. There we go.
Wow. It's a long way to the shop if you want a Chico roll.
Jim says, hooray to Canada, I applaud their Chancellor. Okay. You mean, is he the British guy that was the head of the Bank of England or something?
He's the Canadian guy that was the head of the Bank of England.
Oh, there you go. Not at all.
So here's the thing, as you probably know, and this is the only politics I'll go into, that Trudeau basically stood aside because his policies, his parties were very much on the nose. Trump turned that around and they had a landslide victory.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is all we'll say on that.
Yeah, Julian says, agreed, Gary. When I heard they were launching her into space, I said, great, are they leaving her there? Sadly, they didn't. Ooh, that's brutal. Lady Sam says, John, I've already voted. It's called a postal vote.
Yes, I've not done it. I'm going to do it on the day, just so I can turn up and, you know, get my sausage.
What?
Oh,
That sounds
on
really...
election
Sorry, say that again, John.
Not every polling booth, but outside polling booths, you got fundraisers for scouts or local sort of Lions, Rotary clubs, all that sort of stuff, and they have sausage sizzles, so you can pay $2-3 or whatever to make a donation, get your democracy sausage, as they call it.
Right, that sounds a lot better than saying I'm going to the polling booth to get my sausage.
Yeah, I guess it does, but the polling, that does sound sus, doesn't it?
You're going to get some sausage in the polling booth.
Yes.
It's glorious, was it, John?
Oh yes, I look forward to it every 4 years. I mentioned before that Australian election periods only go for 6 weeks. It gives us much more time to concentrate on the turgid American races for the rest of the calendar year.
Well, see, I was saying this to Gary and Tiff before. It's weird in Wales because we have 2 lots of elections. Well, 3 lots of elections because we have the local elections, we have the general election, and we have the Welsh Senate election as well. And it's the same in Scotland and Northern Ireland. They have their own parliamentary elections as well as the Westminster elections.
Yeah.
All on
pouring rain here at the moment, I'll let you know.
Sorry, I'm just having some juice. Jim says, Julian.
I'm just going to mute while I spray.
Okay. Jim says, Julian, that would have been a blessing for humanity. Dieter says, was stagehand for Iron Maiden in 2009 and did the Antwerp gig of AC/DC in 2012, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Cool. Julian says, 100% agree, Jim, especially after her last track, but I'll leave it there. Tish says, if I'd known Amazon did those trucks, I'd have used a voucher for one. I only have 40 quid left of the 95. Well, you could always put it towards a kit or some paints or something. Get loads of Vallejo paints. Jim says, pardon my minor political statements, quite out of character for me. So, right, old boy, we'll let you off. It is unusual for you.
That's my job, yeah.
Tiff says, I was at the Legacy of the Beast Iron Maiden tour. Amazing gig. Shame it didn't get to see Ozzy, which I had tickets for. Yeah.
Oh.
Julian says, not political, Jim. She's a musician of sorts. Jim says, back to modelling. John, are you keeping the half-track Panzer Grey?
Yes, I will be. I'll be doing it as the B scheme. That one. Yeah, so A scheme is desert.
Yeah.
The B scheme is, here we go. So A scheme, Krankenpanzerwagen, Sd.Kfz 251 for Ausführung, a livery variant from North Africa, 4142. Whereas the other one is livery variant from the Eastern Front, 4142. So I'm doing this one just because I can, just to be different from the other 2 gentlemen.
Yes. And because you did your old one in grey, you want to compare it.
That's part of it. And I've never done anything in. Oh no, I've done one thing in desert sand, which was the what's right here, the Bergen.
I didn't do mine in desert sand. I did it in dark yellow, and it looks more like a greeny colour.
I can't remember the name of this. What was this called again? Bergpanzer. Yeah. So it's the only thing I've done in that colour. So I'm going to stick with the German grey for now.
Yeah.
I should clear my bench. All this stuff is within arm's length.
Yeah. All within smacking distance.
Well, what I do off camera, you'll never know.
Jim, I was referring to the Canada observation. Yeah. Julian, be back later. Kara here, lunchtime. By the way, Mikey, don't forget the election for the Police and Crime Commissioner. Yeah, we have that one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
So we have about 4 or 5 different elections. All on most of them are on different years as well.
We just generally get federal and state. So and they alternate, like every in 2 years there might be another state election.
Yeah.
And every alternate 4. Well, that shouldn't have come off. Alternate 4 would be a federal election.
Yeah. Well, even when we have the, I think it's when we have the Senate election, we have to select who we want to be Senate member, who we want to be regional Senate member, and who we want to be Police and Crime Commissioner.
Police and crime, that's a weird one.
Yeah, it's basically like a civilian that's put in to sort of monitor the police and promote community engagement.
Is he the fat kid at the end of the line that nobody picks?
Yeah. Ours is called Andy Gunbobbin.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He used to be the veterans representative in the council or something.
Okay.
Even though he's never served. But, yeah. Graham says, my first big gig was the Iron Maiden Power Slave tour at the Apollo in Glasgow. Also,
my first big one was Queen.
Ooh. I've never had a big one, John. Jim says,
I know, I've heard.
When I heard of Bruce Dickinson being a collector and operator of military hardware, my respect for him increased greatly. Yeah.
Oh, shut up, John. I'm getting German grey everywhere, but that's okay. I'm going to have to think about how I do these tracks next. What a brush, and I'll consider that. I do have, so all that's left, I haven't put on the accoutrement on the rear of the doors, like the jerry cans.
You mean them?
And whatnot. Yeah, I haven't done that yet. So I'll do that now. I keep knocking my camera because I've never done this before. All right. I had a thing. So I've had an interesting couple of days. So what happened yesterday mid-afternoon is I attended a thing at Vitalworld, the local museum, and yes, you could tick that off your list, where we had Jack van der Linden has turned up. Well, he's actually the assistant general manager of the museum. I'm looking for my tissue paper. There it is in the bin. So apart from being the assistant director, he's been in a certain couple of places a certain number of times, and it's a very interesting career. So he was talking about when he graduated. So the talk was, it was literally Anzac Day, the 25th of April 1975. So 50 years ago was the last day that Australia was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he was on. He was the Herc pilot of the last flight out of Vietnam.
Oh, the one that left 4 troops in Vietnam because there wasn't enough space. Had
you heard about that?
Yeah, I was reading about it the other day.
Right, because it's all wrong. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
And he proved exactly what happened. So, so he was the last flight out of Vietnam. And he was the first flight into Darwin after Cyclone Tracy, which is 1975, Christmas Day, 1975.
Yeah.
The big hurricane went through and flattened the capital city of the Northern Territory of Australia. And talking about all the other things that he did, were the times that he nearly killed people or crashed the Herc and all that sort of stuff like that. But a very close call. But we've never lost one yet. It was absolutely riveting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. So I'll show you a couple of photos because I can. So it's a picture of me and Jack. Here we go. So this isn't during the talk, but this is me and Jack there.
Yeah.
So obviously he's the one sans beard.
With the tash.
Yeah, and this is him giving the chat. There. But you can see we have a Bloodhound missile because Australia had them.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that a Bloodhound?
Yeah, sure is. It's wrong colours and stuff like that because, Australia. Oh, look, Blério's, a model of Blério's monoplane and an SE5A 1/3 scale underneath that. We got the Sopwith Camel beside it. This is a map of, here we go, the bombing of the presidential palace on the 8th of April 1975 and how that'll work. So here's a wonderful, wonderful chat. I'll just read this because this is interesting. ADF involvement was from the 31st of July 1962 to 25th of April 1975 in Vietnam. 60,000 ADF servicemen and women served in Vietnam, mostly Army. 523 of the Australian Defence Force personnel were killed and 2,400 were wounded. Much smaller numbers than America.
Oh, yeah.
0.5% of the Vietnam casualty evacuations succumbed to their wounds, compared to 20% in World War I and 8% in World War II. 43 ADF women served in Vietnam, primarily as nursing sisters. 4,443 RAF personnel served in Vietnam. 14 RAF personnel were killed, 56 were wounded. 35,000 Australian Vietnam vets are still alive today. 20 to 30% of the Vietnam veterans have PTSD. 1,677 Vietnam veterans committed suicide, and 281 orphans were evacuated from Vietnam and settled in Australia. Look, this is one of them. This girl, 3 years old, 7.7 kilos.
Wow.
Terrible. And this is her now. Sorry.
Wow, she looks very manly.
Yeah.
She's aged quite a bit.
And this is me with Cole. Cole is a mate of mine. He's the president of the RAF 37 Squadron Association. So, delighted to see each other again because, we're good mates.
Yeah.
So there you go. I had an interesting day. That was Wednesday. And then from there, I went down to Sydney overnight. I had a medical examination this morning by a doctor at Veterans Medical, an assessment. There's 43 pages of MRIs and stuff. So as a report for that going to DVA for final submission, if you like.
Yeah.
So I've had an interesting couple of days.
Did it go all right?
It did. She's very nice. Wonderful to chat with her, actually. It made my day, if that makes sense. It wasn't too difficult because it was yesterday. So here's the thing. I had a chat with a guy before the talk, before Jack had his presentation, and we were just showing him around the museum. And I'm talking about Avon engines and all that stuff like that. And, he said, so, were you a pilot? And I said, no, avionics. Oh, yeah. Told him, are you still serving? No, I'm out now. I had this. No, that's what happened. Yada, yada, yada. And how are you coping? And I started getting a bit emotional, I think, when I was just talking about how I'm doing.
Yeah.
As it turns out, so then go forward an hour and a half, I'm sitting next to him. And every so often I'd sort of move and just go, and sort of catch myself, sort of like nerve impingement and all that sort of stuff like that. And at the end of it, he was just like, it's wonderful to meet you, John. I hope you continue to heal. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm fine. He said, mate, you're not good. You'll be okay. But, he said, you've got a way to go. I'm just like, Jesus, is it that obvious? Apparently it is. But no, I had a wonderful time. I think,
Oh, Posty's back. Yay.
Yeah. So Joe says, in an Australian accent, can't stay for the entire 2 hours. Wife and I have a meeting with our financial advisor. Don't have much dollaroonies, so I need to keep as much as possible. I'm sure the wife will bring up hobbies, kids, and golf. Yeah. Cheers, Joe. Jim says, my first live show was ZZ Top, or would that be ZZ Top, at the Aragon Ballroom in March 1980. Wow. Aragon Ballroom. That's Chicago, obviously. Not the Paradise Theatre by Styx. Wonderful album, man.
Yeah. Where am I?
H.
Oh.
What is that photo with Neil as well?
Oh. Ah. It's my delivery from the Tank Museum.
Oh, wow. And Jim says, at Joe, good luck, Joe. Hope all goes well, as do we all. So say we all. Huzzah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put
I
on
very
these.
nearly put my address on the camera.
Oh, don't do that.
No. Yay. So I got that book for $2.99.
Animals in the Great War. Right.
Yeah. $2.99.
Okay. Go to the index. Look up Murphy. See if Murphy is mentioned.
I'm sure will be. In the Monkey War Museum, Auckland War Memorial, National Home Union. Doesn't mention it on there,
Oh, there you go.
but yeah, I'm sure it'll be in there somewhere.
Yeah. So there's an Australian called Simpson, who's actually Irish, but he settled in Australia, volunteered for the Great War. He was a medic going around collecting wounded people with his donkey by the name of Murphy at Gallipoli.
Well, there's the National Memorial for military service animals is in a village up the road from us. They built it only a couple of years ago at the local pet cemetery.
The animals built it? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I also got this book, which is a little bit heftier.
Camouflage Modern International Military Patterns by Eric H. Larson.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, actually. So how do they do that? Like, are there plates of colour? Wow, lots of photos.
Yeah.
I can't resist this. There is an easy read book coming out this week, The Wisdom of Donald Trump. Going back to spraying now.
It's like 6 pages, 3 cover sheets, 1 postscript.
All five of which have PTO on them.
I'm sorry, I'm particularly snarky today.
It talks about the history and the context and how they changed from being camouflages in to hide people to camouflage to disguise the shape of people and things like that, and how the purpose changed with the patterns and things. That's pretty cool. Different militaries and paramilitaries all over the world. I wonder if it's got your cookie pattern in it. I'm sure it has.
So I got a book today as well.
You can read?
I got a book.
Is it paint by numbers?
Might as well be. So it's by this chick by the name of Marie Davenport, right?
Yeah.
And it's called The Australian Guide to Living Well with Endometriosis.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is this chick, Marie Davenport,
Yes.
that's my sister.
Can't be. She's far too good looking.
Looks like me with the bad wig.
No.
So what's interesting, apart from other things, so, blah, 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 blah. Oh, look. Oh, she sounds like a smart chick. Well, she is. She moves in different circles to me. So this is going to outrage Sam, I think. But this is a picture on my sister's Facebook page yesterday.
There you go. There's 3 pages for the Australians. Hey, there's your cookie pattern.
Look, that's her. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Wow.
Cool. over 600 photographs in there.
So,
That'll be handy.
so this is yesterday. There's a friend of the family. Well, this girl Maddie.
Yes.
Her father died.
That's
at the end of
cheerful.
last year, and her mother had previously died, so she's left an orphan. So my sister Ria's daughter Brianna and her husband took her in because they were next door neighbours. They grew up together, so they live together now, and they're effectively, her parents, if that makes sense. But anyway, they're just sort of down the street. Now the Australians watching might recognise that guy, apart from like Lord Voldemort. He's the Liberal candidate for Australia, so he may well be Prime Minister of Australia on Sunday. You never know. But that's Ria, who used to be in. She still is in the Liberal Party, but she was the youngest Australian senator elected in Australia. So she's a very interesting lady, and I like her a lot. Here we go. Advocated women's health for over 30 years. Youngest woman elected to Parliament of Victoria at age 28 and the first to have a baby while serving. Blah, 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 blah. And big write-up because she's a very interesting chick. So there you go. That's my book purchase today. Didn't even get a free one.
Yeah, it's a bit hard faced considering it's your sister.
No, I'd rather pay for one and support her, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. Tiff says, Posty has just been to my door, Mikey. I believe it will be my stickers. Ooh.
Stickers?
Modders got stickers. If you want to go and get them, Modders, you can do.
Paul Marley says, in an Australian accent, the Aragon Ballroom? Wonderful. Wonderful. Actually, did I say that bogan enough? Maybe I didn't.
Jim says, yes, John.
You go.
The Aragon Ballroom is located on the north side near the lakefront.
Oh. I haven't heard of it. I'll talk to Paul later. He'll tell me more.
Okay.
Walla, 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 ooh.
Steady. Duke says, good day all. Sorry I'm late. John, the guy stretching is Big Merv.
Thank you very much, Duke. It's wonderful. Ria. Bron picked it straight away.
You're obsessed. Sausages, polling booths, rears.
You're learning a lot about Australia. Australia, we love you. Amen.
TBG says, hi everyone. Hello, TBG. Jim says, another well-known Capone business was the Green Mill, a nightclub that is still open today.
Is that right?
There we go. TBG says, the backwards one has a sister. Somebody inform Daft Vader. Tiff says, I'll get them in a bit, Mikey. Okie dokie. If you want to go and get them, you're more than welcome.
Oh,
yeah, it looks good. Happy with that.
Happy, joy.
Yeah. I might just stick some silver in them, actually. Yeah, that's tools painted.
So, having completed running repairs on the airbrush,
yes,
it is now working absolutely perfectly.
Yes.
On the wheels, they're all painted.
Ooh.
And that's had quite a bit of paint left over.
Yeah.
Mr. Childs,
Malcolm,
Mr. Childs, if you're watching, I've painted the underneath.
I've started
the bodywork.
How'd you go, Mike? Have you painted the underside of yours?
Shit, I just dropped one of the bloody...
Well done.
I dropped one of the jerry cans then. Forgot I haven't glued them in. There we go.
Jerry cans. Another name for German breasts.
Will you not do
really?
That when I'm drinking?
Yeah.
So yes, so
Tammy's in. She says, "Good morning, everyone." Hello, Tammy and Ray.
Hello, Tammy.
I've been loving your short clips on YouTube as well, by the way.
And
Really
I
cool, especially
apologise for
Ready for
Gary's
Holiday.
last comment. There's no way to talk about boobs.
What?
Well, this took a turn. I apologise for John. Not for anything he said. I just apologise for John in general.
We should have one. We should have a permanent apology on the beginning of every show.
Yeah.
Viewers
Warning:
of
this
an
content involves
disposition-
Australians.
The
This live stream involves Australian that's disgruntled.
viewers of a nervous disposition should look away for the next 2 hours.
Yes. Subtitle. Crikey.
Jim says, "Good morning, Tammy." And TBG says, "Tammy!"
Not Timmy. Timmy.
Jim says, "Gary Morris, the Russian judge would award you a medal for painting the underside."
Oh, they would.
What we need is a little dog to go underneath, to
Okay.
be underneath it. Tammy says, "Hi, TBG," and "Hi, Jim."
You're always very welcome here, Tammy, to not my channel. Always very welcome. But come on, let's face it. But yeah,
Everyone's welcome as long as they're not a git.
well,
Oh. Hello then.
John.
trying my best.
Well, Gary's all right. It's John that's the problem.
Mm,
John's the problem child.
mm.
How many pages are in this book? It's bloody
I
heavy.
do not believe that for 1 minute.
Oh, wow. No wonder it's so heavy.
He's
I
my
want to burst
brother.
into ZZ Top for some reason. I wonder why that is.
Tammy says, "Hi, Jim." And
Good
Dieter
morning,
says,
Ian.
"The show staff cannot be held accountable for Australian humour, Welsh bluntness, and shell diving Garys."
So yeah, it must be baffling for Belgians watching, just going, "These people are idiots."
That's quite a big book. 482 pages in that book.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite heavy.
Wow.
But you can't see anything.
Show us the spine.
I didn't see you at camouflage practice today, James. Thank you very much, sir.
So that compared to the Animals at War book.
Wow.
Compared to Diorama's FAQ book.
Oh, I can beat that. I've put the books in the other room. It's a book called Tommy, and it's about 800 pages long.
Well, that one's 600, so
It's the diaries and letters of First World War British troops.
Tommy Atkins.
Yeah.
Tommy Atkins. Yeah.
My bookshelf's going to take a beating. All right.
Just as long as it doesn't fall down on your head.
Yeah. Hopefully it won't. Because I put it together, not Gary.
Jerry cans. So do they do just
They sit in the racks,
They
yeah.
just slot in,
Literally
yeah.
just lot in the racks.
And they were usually painted the same colour as the vehicle.
The vehicle. Yeah, fair enough.
The theatre vehicles, yeah. Dieter also says, "John, I am doing shows with scale models for vets for almost 3 years straight now, and I am a temporary modder. You would guess I am used to a lot of already, including jerry cans and Oshita jokes."
Oh, I see what you did there. It's still funny, Dieter. Oh yeah, that's funny stuff.
Jim says, "Tommy Atkins, did he create the Atkins diet?"
What, bully
Yes,
beef?
he did. Yes, he made people throw up all around the world.
That's not the Atkins diet. That's bulimia. That's not a diet. That's a disorder.
Yeah.
And it's not one we should be laughing about.
Yeah.
Dieter
You're right.
says, "I even promote them in Discord as seeing Dutch and Belgian Marlies, Gary and Mikey's goof off with coffee." There you go. I do like watching that live stream, by the way, because I don't understand Dutch. It sounds like you're watching a film, but it's on rewind.
Ah,
So all you can do is yip, 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 yip.
nib nub.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you can do better
apologise
than
to our
that.
Dutch audience for that.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the most controversial thing that's been said in this live stream so far. He says, trying to
Apart
deflect
from
blame.
jerry cans.
That's what they were called, weren't they? That's what the British
Yes,
called
it's
them.
what John said.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry Cans, wasn't that one of the Spice Girls?
God, yeah, she was. She's good singer. Both of them.
Yeah. Oh, bugger.
All right. So I could just sort of plonk anything anywhere because it's all going to be German grey. Plonk. Let's get the other jerry can.
There's something I didn't know.
Plonk.
What's that?
In New Zealand,
Yeah.
there is a
Yeah.
restaurant, a McDonald's restaurant, and I use the words McDonald's restaurant
Loosely.
loosely. It's in a DC3. It's literally a DC3.
Apparently, a lot of them in Tasmania are open 24 hours as well.
Oh, well, yeah, but most of them in Australia are as well.
They're not over it.
Okay.
Here's a fun fact for all the Americans over there. The McCafe started in Swanston Street in Melbourne, Australia, and spread like syphilis around the world.
Delightful, John.
Well,
Again,
So is it-
once again, we apologise for our Australian
He
friends.
has a way with words.
Dita says Jerry Halliwell sure can do cans.
yeah.
She did at the Brit Awards, didn't she?
Jerry
Both-
Halliwell
yeah.
Horner now.
Yeah.
Halliwell.
Even though she's more
What?
grey and blonde.
He's married to Christian Horner, the Red Bull Racing guy.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy that sat in the corner.
Oh, that was his brother Jack.
Oh, his brother Jack. Yeah, that's a good book too. My brother Jack.
Yes, I've got that. It's a good play, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No, I'm
thinking
talking
eyeball
about
Jack.
the porno.
Dear
Oh,
God.
shut up, Australia.
I was thinking of My Boy Jack, which is a play about Rudyard Kipling's son.
So,
Ah,
Gary
yeah,
said, "Why don't I
and
come
what's
back
his
here?"
name? Harry Potter's in it, isn't it? And
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe
it was written
so-
by the guy who was in
in Blue Line.
Thin Blue Line, yeah, the Inspector Grimm.
Inspector Gadget.
And he played Kipling in it, didn't he?
Yeah,
So, Gary,
David Haig.
what
That's
did you
it.
do to separate these hoops from the sprue?
I swore a lot,
Yeah.
but the way I did it is I cut them off with a razor saw and then
Right.
very carefully sanded down the nibbles. Not
Oh,
nipples.
right. The nippy nips.
Yeah, because they are a
so I
bugger to get off.
do have a razor saw handy, so hooray.
Oh, but did you know? Well, Gary, you know, at the end of that film, it says that Kipling's son Jack was never found.
Mm.
That's not true, because it turns out he was actually found in 1919, but the only identification they could make of the remains was that it was a lieutenant in the Irish Guards, and
Right.
it took until 2007, I think it was, for the War Graves Commission to look at it, and they looked at where the Irish Guards were, and there was only 3 lieutenants. They only lost 3 lieutenants in that area in the whole war.
Mm.
But they didn't think it was Jack because he died at the corner of this woods, which was a certain grid reference.
Yeah.
And the way grid references work in the First World War is different to how they work now.
Oh,
So-
is that right?
Yeah. So
Oh, look at that. Before I separate it. That,
do you know what?
that-
I can actually
that
explain
part
this
there is
because I've got
broken
a
in the
World War One
corner.
trench map. 2 seconds. I shall find my World War One trench map and I shall explain it to you.
All right. And while you're doing that, so talking about Vietnam, the last days and the guys left behind. So what the story goes, that's in the Australian War Memorial and on the DVA, which is Defence Veterans, not association. What do they call it? DVA Authority. Website is the last people left in Vietnam. Apart, everyone was evacuated, full of Saigon, and all that sort of stuff like that. So apparently, these 4 ADGs, Airfield Defence Guards, what I guess you guys would call, Gary Evans. So the Airfield Defence Guards, the perimeter patrol, they were responsible. These 4 last guys were responsible for defending the Australian embassy staff. Rumor has it, and the story goes, that these guys, they made sure the staff was safe on the Herc, and it left, and they were left behind, with 4 rounds each, and no way to get home. And the RAF were circling off the coast, and they were directed to go down and pick them up, and all that sort of stuff. Now, it's, as Jack was saying, it's complete and utter bullshit. He said what actually happened was there were 2 planes on the deck, one A model, one E model. Jack was told that he was going to be the last plane out. If either of those 2 crumped, that he would take their load and make sure that the aircraft that was broken was rendered unserviceable. So, shot through certain control boxes and all that sort of stuff like that. As it turns out, he didn't need to, because both aircraft got away without incident, no worries at all. The embassy staff got on the second last aircraft. The 4 AGs didn't get on, and the AGs never really got close to the plane. So the load master was saying, well, we can't stay anymore. Like, it's now doors time, we need to leave. And they just sort of stayed behind. So Jack and his crew were then sort of like, well, let's get out of here. And they sort of spooled up and all that sort of stuff like that. And as he said, they were, all 4 turning, burning, and everything serviceable. Hey, guys, get on board. They're just loitering. And he said they were just mingling in the background there. And he's thinking, what are these guys doing? And then the co-pilot said, it looks to me like they're stalling. It's like one of them wants to claim to be the last guy on the ground in Vietnam. So, they were just being dicks. So this is bullshit. The loadmaster climbed up the ramp after signaling to them, and then they're just ignoring him, staying around the perimeter of the plane. And as soon as the ramp started going up, these guys jumped on board. And they're all just looking at each other like, sort of smart ass looks and all that sort of stuff like that. So ramp and door closed, and all the paradoors are closed, and the crew entrance door is closed and stuff. And just before taxi, Jim, I think, the loadmaster basically radioed to the pilot, said, I need to get out and check the main landing gear. And he said, yeah, do what you need to do. So he opened a left-hand paradoor, jumped onto the ground, stomped his feet, walked around as if like, RAF is, I'm the last guy here, sort of thing like that. And then just got on board, closed the paradoor, and off they went, and all that sort of stuff like that. So this story showed up later on. We were left behind and stuff like that. And all the pilots are thinking, well, it's clearly just bullshit. The story goes that they were just being dicks. And it was only last year that one of them got hold of Jack, the co-pilot. The pilot, and to thank him for like taking them out of there and all that sort of stuff like that. And they're just like, yeah, like it's all a bit of bullshit. And he said, yeah, we were young and stupid. We were trying to talk ourselves up, and you guys were, you're always there to help. You never sort of treated us, never ignored us and stuff like that. So I think the truth came out, but certain websites are still pretending that that's how it happened because it sounds more dramatic. But he said, not only is it true the way it happened, but the loadmaster is over there, and he stand up and wave, and show us your boots. So he picked up the boots and said, yeah, so these are the last Australian things on the ground in Vietnam in 1975. So it was a hell of a good talk. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And hooray, 37 Squadron, my first and favourite squadron. Go Hercs, longer, harder, faster. It's okay to be Jay.
It certainly is.
I'm struggling to find this map. Can't remember what I've done with it. Jim says, Jerry can became the standard description of the 5-gallon fuel cans the British captured, used and reproduced to replace the flimsy cans, which were very poor quality.
Yeah.
Jim says, "My God, it's a brown wasteland out there. You have to turn the map over, sir."
Always funny.
Julian says, "Back." Jim says, "Stay awake, Gary. John can sometimes go on a bit too long. We all know that."
No,
Oh,
I
you
was
enjoyed that,
enjoying
Jim.
that. I
Don't
was
pretend you didn't enjoy that story.
I was enjoying every second of that. Was
TBD
very
says,
carefully trying to remove this small part from the sprue.
TVG says, "Look, John, you've glued something on backwards."
Well, I nearly did. So this is the I guess the tarp cover that goes over the driver's compartment there. Well, so it's broken. It was before I sort of snipped it off the sprues, but I'll be a few minutes trying to get this lined up before it goes on. Yeah, I know. There's probably user error.
Really, because I've seen this map loads over the last few weeks.
Map Desi.
Do you want to carry on with the chat, one of you?
Yeah.
Julian
says, "Hiya, TBG, mum and son." Comma Paul. Hey, do you want to alternate, Gary?
TBG says, "Hi, Julian Hall."
Julian says, "Jim, you're not suggesting that John is at all long-winded, are you?" Smiley face.
Jim also says, "Julian Hall, no, not at all, mate."
And Julian replies, "Gary, did you resolve your airbrush hiccup while I was away?"
Yes, I did. And Julian says, "Laugh my arse off, Jim."
And Gary says, "Chair force." Oh, sorry, my mistake.
Yes, we were.
I had a wonderful chat with the so-called better-looking Marley yesterday. I was driving south down to Sydney. There's like a 2-hour drive, so for a full hour of that, we were chatting away about all sorts of stuff, and it was the most enjoyable talk. And I think both of us enjoyed it. We were literally laughing out loud at certain points and stuff, and yeah, had a great old chat, as we do every time we talk.
Good. Is that right?
Yes,
is right.
I'm not lying.
No, it's all right. I've done something right.
What?
What?
Not the girl you think you are.
So, yeah, Monday was very interesting. Smallwoods, which is a local conservation woodland trust setup, have a veterans project where you can go down there. They have a campfire brewing with tea on it and coffee. It's all outdoors, and they've got these things called shave horses, which you sort of ride like a horse, but you use them to strip down.
That's what that was. I'd never seen one before.
Yeah. So this was a bit of tree that was lying down, and I've removed all the bark off of it using the shave horse, and that's going to be when obviously it's in its early stages. I'll probably only use about that much of it. With this, which is something I've started shaping, which looks a bit strange, I know, but it will be a mallet, small mallet. There we are on that is me. That's not me. That is my mate Steve mounting his shave horse.
Yeah, I'd never seen one before. So
see, you do, what you've got there, you've got the bit of wood you're working on between the gap, and you push forward with your feet, and that clamps it in place.
Right. And
then you have this razor sharp tool thingy. Then you just pull it towards you, and it.
Ah, there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, because I was wondering how this worked. I was thinking you rock it like a horse, if you like.
No.
And there's something about the groove there I didn't understand. I've literally never seen one before.
Yeah.
Okay, so that just clamps it, and then you have this rasp or blade or whatever, and you use that.
And you
to
do
pull
literally,
towards
you just pull it towards yourself, like as if you were rowing almost, and it removes. You can see underneath him the
Oh wow!
what he's taken off.
Yeah, right.
And it was just nice to sit there in the woods. The birds were singing, the sun was beaming on your back, there was the smell of a wood fire going, and it was so cathartic.
Yeah, it would be. I think what I hear. So every time I do a stream with, say, Steph and the boys, I hear the birds outside his shed. Very different birds from what we have here. So for me, it would be like the times that I've been in the UK and walked through, say, what you'd call the woods, I guess, and stuff. It's just like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely cathartic, as you say. I reckon you would have had a wonderful weekend.
Well, that was just Monday, but there's talk of us going back next Wednesday. So who knows?
So, do you pay to be part of the group, or is
No,
it a...
No. So it's all it's a funded project. Get veterans doing stuff.
Wonderful. So, how far away was this
From
weekend?
my house, about 3 miles.
Oh,
It's
that's
still
a long
actually
drive for you, Poms, isn't it?
It's still actually in the middle of Telford. Would you believe? You actually have to park on a housing estate, and you walk 200 yards down a path, and you're in this wilderness.
Wow.
Most bizarre.
It is like you probably don't think so. Paul and I were very impressed with the part of the world where you live. I think it's lovely. It really is. I mean, as I've said before, like places like Ironbridge and stuff.
Oh, absolutely stunning.
To us, it looks like a model railway. What people do is a fantasy. Is in effect, it looks like that because it's actual reality.
Yeah. No, it is a very pretty part of the world, especially this time of year. Very. Even in the winter, it can look nice.
So that's part 6. Are these in order? Oh, 6. The 3 hoops are identical. 6.
Damn it!
6.
Just drop bloody jerry cans.
But that's 8, isn't it? Part 5, 6.
Right.
6.
Jim says, all kidding aside, it's stories like that you told that I would love to sit with you, have a drink and a meal, and chat away for the wee hours of the morning.
I agree, Jim. Like, if it wasn't for certain local political events and the downturn in tourism, I'd certainly head over to Chicago.
Yeah. TVG says, we're just waiting for John to come out with During the War.
Oh, wow. Wasn't my war.
Julian, awesome, Gary. I had a minor airbrush hiccup yesterday, painted it for a bit, then suddenly it stopped. I figured it was blocked somehow. No, the noise of the booth was masking the fact that it wasn't switched on.
I've done that before.
Jim says, TBG laughing. Julian, all I'd been doing is emptying what was left in the tank. Paul says, gee, thanks, John.
Yeah. It was a great chat.
Matthew says, Gary, good to see you are all fully clothed. Not dancing in your Y fronts.
Oh, for God's sake.
June says, TBG, surely that line would be from Gary. Gary didn't go to the war, he waved people off to war. There's a difference. Tiff says, it was nice being around nature the other day. The walk, not so nice.
Huh.
I miss the days where I could go for a walk and I could actually enjoy the walk, not just think about what pain I was in. June says, I like nature. Nature doesn't like me. Hay fever. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't have that.
June says, we could meet in Hawaii.
We could, but it's still America.
Yeah. Jim says, Jim, that's the 50th state, isn't it? Solid, liquid, gas. How do you get to 50 states?
It does. It is because Elvis Presley famously sung a line in a song that said, "Gee, it's great to be in the 50th state. Aloha, Hawaii, USA."
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that was a fundraiser for the Arizona Memorial. Oh, actually, no, that's the movie you're talking about. Yeah, it's from the movie.
About the movie, yeah.
Yeah, no, and so no, mine was later. It was the in the 70s. Most of the money raised was due to Elvis having a series of concerts and donating all the money to
Aloha, Hawaii.
Yeah, Missouri, Arizona. No, I think yeah, I'd love to meet up with you, Jim. Like, you know, we should make it happen. It'll be
well, if you can get over to the UK in 2027, you'll be able to meet up with him.
But yeah, so apart from that, so Jim, obviously you're not on Facebook. What I was thinking the other day, or actually today, during the drive back up north, I'm thinking, because last night I was watching YouTube. Oh God! So here's true story. I was watching, Caroline Levitt and a couple of other things about politics and stuff, and I started to think this isn't interesting. This is just, crap, just lies. And it came up as a suggestion, I think. This was my login, not the Scale Model Twins, my personal one. And as a suggestion, it came up with, Scale Modeling Twins first live stream. And of course, I clicked on the thing to see if I sounded like an idiot. And it was my friend Jim and my friend Gary, and we were just sort of chatting and having a good chin wag and stuff like that. And what I was thinking was, I should do more lives. And I'm thinking about, I should do more lives with my friend Jim because we've got stuff to talk about. And I'll not talk about Trump because Trump. But yeah, I'll get in touch with you, Jim, and we'll work out the best time. If you would like to do that, you'd be more than welcome to be a regular, if that makes sense.
So basically, to cut a long story short, Jim, yes, he would like to.
Well, Siri dictated everything I said.
Yeah, Gary,
no.
try to do the abridged version.
I can, yes.
The abridged version is, yes, he would like to meet up with you, and he wants to know if you want to do some live streams with him. There we go. Jim says, yes, it is Julian. Alaska and Hawaii were made states 49 and 50 in 1959. TVG says, Canada and Greenland are to be 51 and 52 in 2025.
No.
Jim says, it would be my privilege to guest on your channel, John.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
Very kind words.
So,
do it.
Going back to what I was saying, I can't find my my spare World War One map. Not sure where I've put it. I put it in a drawer somewhere. Ooh, actually, back in a second.
So while Mikey goes off to discover his map, is there any more chat, Tippers?
Yeah.
Sorry, blinding everybody with my
science. Gary says, cheerful hobbies. Oh, no, we've done that.
Yes. Jake goes off on a cruise tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Where to?
The Norwegian fjords.
Great cars, those.
Yeah.
So we had J models when when I was back. 37's got J model Hercs. Norwegian Hercs came over to visit us because they had just got new J models, and they basically wanted to check them out, and they flew around the world. So they came in and visited us because we were a great help to them in what we call a JUG, a J user group. And and we were having a chat. I remember having a chat with them and stuff like, I just sort of said, because none of them spoke English. I think one of them barely spoke English. So, well, what car do you drive? And he said, oh, I don't know, Peugeot, no, Saab. I can't remember what he said. He said, what car do you drive? I'm a funny guy. I said, a Fjord Territory. And they didn't think it was funny.
No,
Bastards. Bastards.
Yeah.
And that was why there was the famous international incident.
Julian says, John, hilariously, the current US president's last name is UK
Right,
slang term for a fart. Linguistics, not politics, Mikey.
Yes. Wonderful.
Is it really?
Yeah. As I was saying, they found this lieutenant's remains, but the party that found him, the officer, muddled up his map reference, unsurprisingly.
Oh, how unusual.
And it was only when... So they compared it to the notes on those that had been found and captured and stuff, and they only lost 3 lieutenants in that area, that regiment. And one of them had turned out had been captured. They found out later had been captured. Another one had died in hospital, and the other one was John Kipling, because that was his real name, John.
Right.
And he was the only Irish regiment lieutenant that died in that area. So they've confirmed now that it was him. But going back to map reference, World War I maps. So obviously, when you're reading a map now, you have the map number or initials at the top, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you just go...
You got to get across before you get up.
Yeah. So you read the number from there and then number from there, right? But in the World War I ones, what they did is, because they needed to be accurate to 50 yards, to within 50 yards for artillery and things, what they did is they did this sort of system. So you have squares, but you'd have these 4 squares would be A, for example.
Okay.
And these 4 would be B, right? You would have the sheet number, which would be a letter, so say F. Right, so what you do is you go F, A, so that would tell you which set of 4 squares.
Which quadrant, yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 for each one.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have sheet F, square A, section 1, and then you'd have the numbers going across the bottom and the numbers going up the side.
Ah.
So it'd be sheet F, square A, and then dot 1, and then 0, 5, 0, 6 or something. So that's how map references worked in World War I, British maps.
Wow, there you go. So this is before GPS, Starlink, and
by doing it that way, it made it accurate to within 50 yards.
Because I guess this is in the days of literally sextants and star references and stuff. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I did not know that.
So what it looks like had happened is when the party was recovering the remains, the Labour section corps were recovering the remains. The officer, instead of putting section G, he put section H because they were next to each other. But the way that the letters weren't obviously in the middle of the square like that, in the middle of the cross. The letters were actually written down here. So you'd have B there, and then say this one here, you'd have C there. And what they think's happened is he read the wrong letter. Instead of B, he wrote C because he didn't realise he was in the next square. And that's why they think it took so long to recognise that it was Jack. But they actually found the burial that they obviously put the remains in, and now it has actually got his name and everything on it.
Wow.
So it's a great bit
Books
of
are
detective
great,
work.
aren't they? You learn stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to learn something new every day. Jim says,
We
Julian,
do. Look,
thank you. Sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say, like every time I tune into this thing and watch these three guys, I always learn something. It's a great community. Thank you.
Yeah. It's all right. Jim, it'd be easier to show you if I could find my map. I've got a map on the wall, but I'm not getting that down because it's too big. I've got one that's still folded. I'll find it at some point. I'll show you. Jim says, Julian, thank you for the info. I won't think of him in any other way from now on. TBG says, a jug is a P57. It's also a mammary. It's also a mammary. A water, a liquid carrier. David says, never have an officer in charge of a map. Yeah. Julian says, part 1, I read Soldier magazine years ago. On the back page, they always had a real life story. One guy in Northern Ireland said his patrol stumbled into another who were out of place and they almost shot each other. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It happens more than you think.
Yeah. They must have had an officer doing the map reading. Yeah. Jim says, I always learn something when I watch Three Stooges. I know I'm not doing much modelling today, but I'm actually quite enjoying explaining all this. So part of the reason why almost all of that company were wiped out was because the officers that were planning the battle in that sector had a really good idea. So what they did is, say this is the German front lines here, and this green line is the British front lines.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously they marked off invisible lines, different sectors, and each sector has its own company or regiment and things. So say Royal Irish there. Yeah. And then you got German, and then in most cases, what they did is they said, right, go across there. We know there's machine guns, but do us a favour, walk across there, take out that trench.
Do us a favour.
Right.
Do us a favour.
But what they did on that day to John Kipling's regiment was they said, there's a woodland. We know you're over here, but there's a quarry over here, and we want you to take the quarry. And but before you get to that quarry, you've got to clear this woods here. So do us a favour, instead of walking 200 yards that way, walk 600 yards this way towards an dug-in position. Try and take out that wood.
Could we zoom in on Mikey's quadrant, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So start again. Sorry.
So normally they would just say, "Can you walk that 200 yard or whatever it is across there across no man's land to the German trenches?" But what they did to John Kipling's battalion was they said, "We know you're over here, but we've got a woodland over here, and behind that we've got a quarry, and we want you to clear the woodland, and then take the quarry for us." So they made him walk 600 yards that way, diagonally across all the. Bearing in mind, you've also got regiments and companies still going that way at the same time, right? So they're cutting across. All these machine guns are firing. They're having to cut across there, try and take in this woodland, which turned out to have a battalion or so of Germans in it, which were all dug in with machine guns. And then they had to try and take the quarry behind it as well. Yeah. They had 70% casualties. So 70% deaths, I think it was.
Wow.
And John Kipling was one of them. And the remains of this lieutenant that they couldn't identify was at the corner of this woodland here. But the map reference that the Labour Corps put in to where the remains were found was over here. Well, actually, it was behind it. They worked out that the grid reference they gave was actually about 10 miles behind the lines, which was ridiculous. And that's what made them think maybe they got the grid reference wrong. So yeah, it turns out he was actually found there. From the accounts of people that were there, he'd been hit, and one of his men tried to drag him out the woods back to the trench, but got to a point where he couldn't drag him any further and had to leave him there and try and save his own life. So that's where they found him in 1919. Wow. And now his gravestone's got all his details on it, and it's got a photo of him in front of it. And he was buried alongside his men all these years. Nobody knew. There we go.
Would you like to hear another fascinating story about Vietnam? Well, I found fascinating.
Go for it.
So Jim says, jug was an American slang for milk jug, which is what the P-47 reminded someone of when looking at it from nose to tail. That makes sense. Big plane. Rumor was, the pilot could avoid enemy fire by running around the cockpit. Boldly Go says, John would probably read the map backwards. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I think I'll laugh. Well observed.
Speaking of jugs.
Joint user group. A J user group. Jugs are also a UK slang term for ears, Jim. Usually big or stick out ears. Oh, there you go.
Lugholes.
Or Julian, or the back of a map. TBG. Well, yeah, I'll do that. Yep. Tiff says, I've never heard of jugs used for ears. It's always been used to refer to females' testicles. Yeah. I figure that. A jug. Look at that. Oh, that's a beautiful jug. So let's zoom in on
without a propeller. I'm just about to fix it.
So is that a decal around the cowling there?
Yes, it was.
Tell us more about this. So what is it? It's a
it doesn't actually quite. It's a bit shit.
It's a bit shit. So this isn't the mini
art.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, this is the mini art basic P-47. And I've just noticed the propeller's fallen off, so I'm about to do a quick repair.
So do you have 2 stars and bars on top of the wing, or is it
one?
But 2 underneath.
Yeah, bizarre, isn't it?
Interesting.
That's going to be a bit of a
right. So what they're talking about is, one of the Australians injured. In fact, he was in the audience. He was part of the aircrew on what was a cavalry regiment. Eventually became Hueys. In Vietnam, of course. Because fast moving, mobile, in, out quickly, all that stuff. So the cavalry became Hueys. So they went in with a dust off to pick up an injured soldier and stuff. So this guy he stepped on a mine, and both of his legs were blown off at the knees, right? Anyway, they strung this guy up on a winch under the Huey, and then picked him up. As soon as he was secure, then they took off. I think an SA-7. It was like a rocket propelled grenade from. I'm not that familiar with Army ordnance or whatever. Basically, RPG-7. I'm not sure what it was. An SA thing. It was a Russian thing.
Yeah.
It shot this Huey out of the sky, so it landed, and landed on top of the guy that they picked up. They dusted off, right? So they just assumed he was dead and everything else, and sort of got out of there. 2 of the crew members were killed. One of them was the guy on the winch, and another guy was a gunner on the other side of the Huey as it sort of rolled over and stuff. But the 2 pilots, the 2 other aircrew that got out of there, survived. One of them came back to Australia, and you can understand that he suffered PTSD as a result of that, and terrible wounds. He was so badly wounded, he was not evacuated to an Australian hospital at at
Thingy
oh
my bob.
God, what? No, I'm trying to think. What's the Australian, the Aussie Crawl song? Oh, anyway, so he was evacuated to an American hospital, which was generally considered to be the best care and stuff like that, and only the most critical patients were there. He survived. He was there for 3 months before he moved back to Australia, and then he was in hospital for another 8 months. Anyway, so he was in the audience yesterday. So he survived. So he went back a number of years ago to find the remains of the guy that they went to dust off. Right? And he met him. He survived because he had been blown off from his knees down. The helicopter landed on his legs in between the knees and the waist. So then he was amputated at the hips, if you like, or at the lower legs or upper legs. And he survived and still lives in Vietnam and all that sort of stuff. Not only that, but he introduced him to the guy that actually fired the SA-7 that shot the Huey down. And they were just, big hugs and everything else because all's fair in war and all that sort of stuff. You understand? As it turns out, as a result, after that guy was actually on the ground when Jack took off. He pointed his SA-7 at Jack's Herc and didn't fire. It was a conscious decision because after the Battle of Long Tan, which is famous in Australia, that all the Viet Cong were told, do not engage the Australians, they will fight and you will die. So none of the VC engaged Australians after that. It's the most amazing story. It was a full-on war. We were into it big time. I know Britain were not. America were. They lost many, many thousands of people. And what was it all for and everything else? But, it was... Our soldiers, when they came home, were literally spat on by civilians and stuff as they got off the ships and planes. Disgusting. But I think
remember
we look up to them as like, we went off to war in Afghanistan, Iraq and stuff like that, but we had aircon, we had good messes, sanitary food, we had toilets. These guys are my heroes. And as I said, like, I'm proud to have served in the same squadron as them. And not only do I acknowledge them, but they acknowledge what I did. That's far and beyond what I would expect, and if that makes sense.
I remember when we came back from Iraq, we decided to go for a day out to London just for a blowout, and do some. We did shopping in the morning. In the afternoon, we went out drinking, and then, but when we were doing the shopping, we decided to go and me and this lad Shaky, he was a full screw. We decided to go and have a look around.
What's a full screw?
Corporal. We got Lance Jack full screw, stripies, and staffies. We decided to go and have a look around some of the tourist sites, and we went to Parliament, that green outside Parliament Square or whatever it's called.
Right.
And on there was a load of protesters protesting against the Iraq War, all holding signs saying that all British soldiers were baby killers and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I had that myself.
My mate, I literally had to grab hold of him and wrap my arms around it and pull him away because he was going to hit one of them in front of the police. Yeah. I'm like, no, come on, we gotta go. Don't need to be here.
Yeah. Now, I was called a child rapist by a friend of my brother's, and my brother did not defend me. I think he would now, but I was pissed off, and I still am. I'm not going to talk to him again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. On a lighter note, comments. Junior says, hee, in the 80s, the PC term for well-endowed lady was pictorially gifted.
Pictorially gifted.
TBG says, Nodnol would be the first place John would invade.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Nodnol, London backwards.
Oh.
Jim says, John, I think the P-47 had stars and bars on both underside wings for identification purposes, as it was often used in ground support.
Well, there you go. I've not built one. I wouldn't know that. Thank you, Jim.
June says, mind you, the same PC Egypts and disabled were disabled was physically challenged, and short was vertically challenged. I said, F off, I'm a disabled short ass, deal with it. There we go. Gary says, SA-7 Grail was the Soviet shoulder-launched AA missile.
There you go.
Julian says, yes, I've always been extremely diplomatic. Thank you for noticing. Very
so
good.
many little bits on this, hey? Like all the Greeblies and stuff. There's so many Pioneer tools and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm still building it.
Yeah, I just feel like I need to do some
today.
under here. I still got some underneath the hull, but we've got 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, we have. B36. Have I mentioned on this stream that I'm loving this build and I think it's fantastic and everyone should build one right now?
What's that? Steel metallic. Chrome. No. Where's chainmail go?
Chainmail?
Yes, I'm missing a bottle of paint somewhere.
C36. That would be down here.
That's wood. That's black.
Maggie got wood.
Maggie got wood.
I dropped it somewhere.
Mikey got wood.
Oh, Mikey got wood. Oh, that's a bit less disturbing.
Right, that goes in there.
So, Jim, I'll get in touch with you. I guess the easiest way would be via Mikey's Discord. So we'll chat online. We'll have we'll come up with something that doesn't inconvenience you. Like I think if it doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but if I could do a live stream and you turn up, I think it'd be worthwhile, because if nobody watches, I think we'd have a great chat regardless.
I think the best way to contact Jim is Semaphore, isn't it?
Well, probably either that or I was going to say, like, I don't know anyone else in Chicago apart from the members of Styx, the greatest band in the universe. JY was the first, but Jim doesn't know who Styx are, but that's okay. I did. This is hardly political, but I watched live a speech by your governor in another state the other day, and I thought it was the most wonderful thing. I think he's fantastic.
Are we going political again, John?
No, I'm just mentioning that. I'm not going to mention names or what side he's on or anything else. I just think every so often I can watch British, I can watch politics. Well, not politics. I can watch world affairs, and all I want as a politician is somebody who will tell the truth, can speak without notes and sound eloquent. Like, I know, everything else is superfluous and all that sort of stuff.
But
I think he's a beautiful guy.
But anyway, Julian's put the link up, but the link, there is a link in the description as well. The affiliate link, if you can buy it through that as well if you want to. Tiff says,
look at my camera.
Tiff says, or purchase through the Amazon affiliate link in the description. There we go. Jim says, please do, John. I would like to be a regular guest, and any time would work for me because I don't sleep regular hours.
I think this might be the start of a beautiful relationship.
Yeah. June says,
I promise I won't talk about politics.
June says they'd have
wait
to be
a couple of seconds and then talk over Gary.
Julian says there has to be bloody tall and big flags to see from the US, John. Jim says Styx has a Chicago link to it because the lead singer is Chicagoan.
Oh, they all are, yeah. Proudly
June
Chicago.
Oh, Jay says, "Oh, sorry, Mikey. Ignore link, ladies and gents." Sorry, John.
2, 3,
that's
4,
good.
4.
I always feel bad when I say that to you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you
Oh,
know, it's
shit.
not often you say sorry, John. Most of the time it's shut the fuck up, John.
Oh, shit.
What's the matter, Gary? What's the matter, Oshita Gary?
I think I've done a Marley.
Oh,
No.
No, I haven't. Oh, blimey, that was close.
Damn it.
Oh,
Thought I'd
We've still
done a
got
Marley.
this.
I thought I was rubbing off on you, but it's probably just.
Beg
well,
your
I didn't.
pardon?
I know, right?
Rubbing up against you, maybe, but or rubbing you up the wrong way, but you know.
oh, it's getting warm in here now.
It's still nice and cool. Ooh, there's a nice cool breeze coming in, actually.
So what remains? Oh God, what a wonderful song that is, Blues Traveler. Yes, love it. E9. Where's E?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I've still got all the ancillaries to put on outside.
B.
Yeah, I've still got them to do. I'm going to put them on after I've painted it.
Yeah,
The
it's gonna be
Krankenpanzerwagen.
E. So for me, the way I'm thinking it, everything's going to be grey, and once everything's on and grey, then I can start lightening up and progressively adding lighter shades of grey to the sides that are upwards and stuff. So the lower sides, certainly the things that I should not have painted underneath, are going to be remaining the German grey. But I'll go lighter and lighter. My aim is to go lighter and lighter for the I guess you can call it zenithal shading.
Yeah.
Which you do on figures and stuff, but it's the same sort of principle of this.
Yes.
It's funny how a lot of Warhammer painters and stuff call zenithal with the X, but it would be with a Z or Z because it would be like the zenith, the uppermost point of the sky.
Did I show you my latest figure from Mr. Skiffins in my inspiration box?
Oh, let's have a look at that. What's that? Is that what? 116?
That's the figure.
Yep, 116th American soldier, and
World War II.
Yeah, he's got a slight. If you can see the rifle, is slightly bent, so I've got to straighten that. But what I'm having him doing is what we've got to do is we've got to sit him next to a fire, and then using object source lighting, paint him. So zenithal will be used on that, and then the glow from the fire will be used as well.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of our future
go.
builds will be something like that because I need to do figures because they scare the hell out of me.
Well, me and Gary have been thinking about this, and we do have an idea, but we're not going to tell you. We're going to pick a surprise figure for you.
I've probably forgotten.
June says Oshita Marley from Telford Panelist. Jim says, to be honest, I'm struggling to organise the build process of my 250 half track. I think this may be the first half track I've made. It's the first one I've made as well.
Yeah, well, it's second I've made. I'm loving it dearly. It's
Jim
a
says,
wonderful kit.
A GI from the Vietnam era.
Is he from Vietnam, do you think?
No, because I had M16s in Vietnam.
Ah, right, yeah. Because I've got the instruction book that came with it, produced by Mr. Skiffins himself.
Yeah.
Right.
With images and photographs and how to do it, and on my new hook up there, part of my organisation, thanks to Colin, my mate from face-to-face session.
Jim says, sorry, thought that was an M16, but it's an M1. Yeah, M1 Grand.
M1 Grand.
Yes.
So I didn't even know what they were called. Now I
Yes.
do. I'm not that familiar with Army. That's okay.
M1 Grand was the standard issue rifle during World War II and the Korean War for American troops.
So what did they use in World War One?
They used the Springfield rifle. The Americans had the Springfield rifle. British had the Lee Enfield SMLE.
The Enfield, yeah.
303s.
As
The Germans had the Mausers.
Yes. Okay. I should read more about ground forces.
Yeah, you should. Julian says,
No, he doesn't.
How can you tell, Jim? I thought it was World War II. Not saying you're wrong, just though it was World War II by BAR in his hands.
Yeah, Jim was going on the rifle and then corrected himself.
What's a BAR?
Browning automatic rifle.
So there you go. I have no clue.
You thought it was the bar, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You can't spot a bar because there was a bar at Telford and you walked past it.
Yeah. I remember watching an interview with a guy who, I think he was World War II, and he said that when he was carrying a BAR, he felt invincible because he knew whatever it hit, it was going to stop. He said, and he knew he could just keep hitting people.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Because it was accurate and it was powerful. Because it's an automatic rifle, wasn't it? He said when he had it, he said he tried swapping with, because they had a gunner's mate as well with him, because obviously they had to carry a lot of magazines for it. And he tried, he was very, very protective over it. And one day he decided to let his gunner's mate carry it, and he'd carry his rifle. And he said he felt so vulnerable carrying a rifle compared to the BAR because it didn't have the same weight and things like that.
Right.
Morgan's in. He says, "Hi, hello, son.
Hey, Morgs.
Aren't you in Paris at the minute?" Oh, there we go. Yeah, he's in France. June says, "Oh, a Garand, not a BAR. Beg pardon." Yep, Morgan's in Paris on holiday. Jim says, "Springfield 1903 rifle made a sniper weapon." Yes.
There you go.
Most powerful sniper rifle of First World War was the Lee Enfield. Jim says Steve McQueen fires a BAR in the film Sand Pebbles, only a 20 round.
What a good film that is.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Julian says, "Okay, thanks, Jim. I thought I could see a magazine, or did the Garand have one too?" The Garand, it didn't have a magazine as such. It was top loaded.
No, what you could see, I think, was his
That was
hand.
a stripper clip.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because the Garand had a stripper clip. You put the clip in the top, and then you just push the round.
Push it down, and
When it empties, this is one of the problems with the Garand was when you fire the last round, it didn't just eject the round; it ejected the stripper clip, and it went ping. Yeah. So the Germans knew when they'd run out of ammunition. Then,
right.
So what the GI? So what they used to do is they'd wait to hear the ping, and then they'd go after him.
Typical underhand German trick.
Yeah. So what the GIs cottoned onto this. So what they used to do is, if they had a 10-round clip, they would wait until the 9th round, and then they'd change magazine. They'd reload it, so that it didn't have a chance to make that sound, or it would ping out, and then they'd carry on firing. But they also figured out that if you filed down the safety sear a certain way, it would change it into an automatic. It go from semi-automatic to automatic. Jim says,
"Wow,
like
my best mate's uncle was a BAR rifleman in New Guinea and the Philippines." There we go.
Awful
Jim
weather
says,
there, I must say.
Yeah. Jim says, "Hi, Morgan." Morgan says, "Yep, in Disneyland."
Wow.
I wouldn't go around there. I wouldn't go there to white Mickey Mouse outfit.
Yeah. Morgan says, "Hi, Julian." Morgan, if you're in Disneyland, dude, why are you on here? Get off your bloody phone. Stop watching YouTube and enjoy yourself.
Disneyland. It's fucking Disneyland.
You should be chasing.
I can't believe you're walking around Disneyland on your phone.
Oh my god.
Enjoy yourself, dude. Julie says, I heard that ping thing was apocryphal, Mikey, but it is true. Yeah.
Bit like
the guy that worked that out told his mates or whatever, you think in that sort of confrontation, you wouldn't have that much life expectancy. So
Yeah.
obviously it
Like
became
the,
a thing, but the loss of life would have been obscene.
bit
Yeah.
like the clicker they used on D-Day, which they actually did in the Longest Day film as well. They had the clickers for identification, but it also sounded very similar to the
Bolt.
On the German.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you click, and then the German would go, and
Yeah.
they'd think, wonder why they got shot.
Yeah.
But there we go.
enjoy yourself, Morgan. Sounds like a wonderful holiday.
Yeah. Give Snow White a big kiss from me.
He says he doesn't know. Duke says the bloke who survived in Saving Private Ryan, not Ryan, used a BAR.
Wonderful movie.
Apparently, he sat with his friends. There we go.
Ah.
Right. Jim says, I heard 2 clicks. I heard 2 clicks. Yeah.
Famous last words.
Yeah, that was my balls dropping.
Jesus.
That were my famous last words.
And on
No,
that
that's thud, wasn't
No, you over exaggerate me.
it? Oh, do you mean he went, hi? Oh.
Yeah.
Morgan says, what the hell? Sorry, Morgie. John's just talking about his clacker bag.
Yeah.
It's pretty much been... It's a good job you weren't here at the beginning. Go and enjoy your holiday, Morgie.
Yeah.
We're going to be
Have a
back tomorrow
cracker.
at 11 o'clock.
Talking of holiday, I'll tell you off stream.
Yeah, we're going to be here tomorrow at 12 o'clock for the Model T build, hopefully with Waitrose.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I might be doing some diorama stuff.
Oh, yeah, actually, I will be as well. John might be
I
as
will
well.
certainly
And
be.
Gary.
Yeah.
I will
I wonder
be
if Gary can make it through a whole stream tomorrow.
Gary.
Nah.
Oh, posh Gary.
Yeah. But
Nope.
having said that, don't forget, tonight, 8 p.m. UK time, on Gary's stuff, we do have Gary's live stream. I'll be there.
It'll be 5 a.m. Australian time.
My beer is already in the fridge. Yeah. And we'll be doing Mystery Box Nick. Although Mystery Box Nick won't be there, so I'll be doing his part of it.
Mystery Box Mikey.
So every time you go for the milk, your beard would already be in the fridge, wouldn't it?
No. Because funnily enough, I stand up when I'm going into the fridge.
Ah, fair enough. Okay.
I don't crawl
Better
into
man
the
than I.
fridge.
Oh, I've done that before.
We do things differently. And on that note,
You just drag your
Rude.
chin along the floor, do you?
yeah,
Anyway.
that's why I've got flecks of crap in it.
Anyway, see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Bye-bye, all.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.